Hi, this is Benji Tabone Grech. Welcome to vlog number 8. Today I'm going to discuss the proposal or the act that has come into law to fix the old rental laws. So what is the main issue? There are many properties and many landlords across the islands of Malta that have tenants in the property that either don't have a rental contract or their tenants are paying very low rent from a very long time ago. So with the European Court, for the Constitutional Court and the European Court of Human Rights, there is now a new law that has been enacted in Malta to try and resolve this problem, which is balanced for both the tenant and the landlord. I think statistically what we need to find out, or say what needs to be published to the public from the government, or at least to the private sector working within this industry, is the number of households, that have old rental tenants. So what has the government enacted? What is being proposed? So there are two scenarios. So there is the tenant who has the means and the resources to find alternative accommodation, and there is the tenant who does not have the means. So who is going to decide whether the tenant has the means? We are saying the courts. And what is the means or the resources to be able to either move out or afford the different situations? So what they are saying is that if a tenant does not have the means or resources to find alternative accommodation or have enough money to find another rental property or live with their family members, or if they are pensioners, to move into an old people's home, if that is what they would like to do, of course, because they cannot be forced to do it, they will have to pay 2% of the property value from the 1st of January after the application has been made by the landlord. So is this fair? Let's work it out. So if the property is worth €100,000, then they will be paying 2,000 euros per annum. Now what is the difference in what they are paying today? I've had a lot of experience with different tenants who pay 50 Malta pounds a year. So this is approximately €100, for example, €90. What about those pensioners or those people who are renting the property through housing, and housing have leased the property through the landlord? There is a property that I saw in Malta, for example. An entire family lives there, the grandmother, the children, the grandchildren, and this property is a palazzo. It's worth €5 million. So are they going to be able to pay that rent? Probably not. Now, where does housing get involved in this case? I think these are the questions that need to be answered. So this is the case for when the individuals do not have the resources or do not have the means to find an alternative solution. And this 2% of the value of the property will be ongoing. So they do not have to leave. If they do have the resources, from when the application is filed by the landlord, from the 1st of January of the following year, the tenant, will have to pay double the rent and move out in 5 years' time. So if we go back to the situation where there are old rental contracts of 50 Malta pounds per year, they would have to pay double. Is this fair for the landlord? But they will have to move out within 5 years' time. What I would say is that to comment on this, 5 years' time is a long time. A lot happens in the past 5 years. A lot happens in 5 years' time. Look what has happened to our island over the past 5 years. Look what has happened to the rental market over the past 5 years. There is the question about the elderly who mostly occupy these old tenancies, and yes, pensioners. Will a pensioner be able to afford it? And what solutions are the government proposing through housing to find alternative accommodation for these? So there are a lot of cases, like I was speaking about this palazzo with a family in Valletta, where after the war, housing rented a lot of residential properties from landlords and gave them to families who did not have accommodation. So if a landlord opens up this case against housing, from what I've understood, is that this new law to fix the old rental law will come into play. Okay, so housing would have to adjust the rental value based on the means of the tenant. What about a suggestion here? I think something that should be included in the law is the right of first refusal. If the tenant who has been there on an old rental law has the means, we are saying that they must pay rent at 2% of the market value. But why not have the right of first refusal to purchase the property? Okay, so if I do have the means, the owner never wanted to sell, I look after my property, but I have an old rental law contract. I start paying him the right rental value of today. The landlord is either happy, but if the landlord wants to evict me, but I can afford to buy the property and he wants to evict me so that he can sell it, because I've been living there for so many years, I believe that the tenants should also have the right of first refusal to purchase the property. Perhaps a suggestion. From what I understand, to residential accommodation. Commercial leases have a separate law, which came into play in June 2018. Okay, and I think the last point I'd like to make is, what is the market value? Okay, I think today the courts appoint an architect to give the value of a property. And I think this is also a part that needs to be looked at through the government about how are properties being valued. An architect uses their method, okay, which sometimes we can disagree with in terms of what is the market value. So I think a system in which the market value is established to understand the true value of that property should be looked at a lot better than it is today. Next topic we'll be talking about in the vlog. In my next vlog will be the rental market, the rental bubble. Okay, so stay tuned or look out for vlog number 9. Any comments about this new rental law, please feel free to get in touch, and thank you. See you next time.